Hi, I welcome you to the channel Knowledge Share. So, in this section, we were practicing our reading skills and trying to improve our English. So, in this section, we shall be reading today's article from the Hindu newspaper, and the title of it is Pressure and Punishment. The world must force Pakistan to take tangible steps against terror networks. The conviction of Hafiz Saeed, a UN designated terrorist whom India and the US blame for the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks that killed 166 by a Lahore anti terrorism court on terror finance charges, shows that Pakistan can be forced to act against terror networks under international pressure. Saeed, in jail since July last year, was convicted in another case of terror financing in February this year. He is currently serving two sentences of 5.5 years each. Saeed would not serve any additional jail term, as the judge said he would serve the punishment concurrently with the other sentences. But the repeated convictions of someone who was a favorite of Pakistan's military establishment till a few years ago in terror financing cases underscore the concerns India and the US have about his operations. He first founded the LET in the 1990s, targeting India. When the terror group came under international pressure, he revived the JUD, supposedly an Islamic charity in 2002, which India accuses of being an LET front. Even after the Mumbai attack, Pakistan refused to act against Saeed and his networks. It was only after the US declared a bounty on Saeed's head and the UN proscribed his organizations that Pakistan, facing pressure from the FATF, banned his organizations. Unsurprisingly, the latest convictions comes a month after the FATF, a global dirty money watchdog, urged Pakistan to complete an internationally agreed action plan to fight terror financing. In February 2018, Pakistan endorsed a UN list of terrorist organizations operating in the country and enforced a nationwide ban on them, including the LET and the JUD, just before a meeting of the FATF. But the FATF still placed Pakistan on its grey list in June 2018 and demanded more actions from Islamabad to avoid being blacklisted, which cannot afford to be blacklisted, especially when its economy is in shambles, has moved against Saeed. The anti-terrorism department's FIs against Saeed and his aides accused the JUD of financing terrorism from its fund collections in the name of charity through NGOs. While the authorities move against Saeed is welcome, the question is whether these are genuine attempts to fight terrorism or half-hearted measures to dodge international pressure. There are doubts because Pakistan had used anti-India and the anti-Afghan terrorist networks for strategic advantages. It was this dual policy of fighting terror at home while nurturing terror groups that targets its rivals abroad that has been responsible for Pakistan's predicament. If it is serious about fighting terrorism, Pakistan should crack down on terror financing and terror infrastructure. The international community and organizations, including the FATF, should keep up the pressure until Islamabad shows tangible outcomes. So, this article was basically about the Pakistan and the arrest that has taken of the international terrorist Hafiz Saeed. So, the Supreme Court of Pakistan has given out the verdict that Hafiz Saeed is to be declared as the UN designated terrorist and he will be facing a 10 and a half years of rigorous imprisonment. Okay, so there are very various experts or the defense experts in India who are saying that it is just an advertisement or just the portrayal of the Pakistan network or the Pakistan parliament that it is just taking harsh action against the terror networks. But I will show you something. Then I will tell you why the experts in India are saying this. So look at this word FATF. FATF. The full form of FATF is Financial Action Task Force. So what is FATF responsible for? FATF is responsible for the anti-laundering money or the money. Basically, what happens that the underdeveloped countries like Pakistan, in these countries, in order to move their economy, what happens is that the developed countries like America, UK, France, and they have formed a group and they will be helping, they will be lending out loans to these people so that their country can develop economically. Okay, But what happens, the countries like Pakistan are using this money so as to fund their terrorist activities, and they will be helping out the terrorist organization. So FATF is the one such organization which is looking at the which is helping out, which is basically what FATF is doing is, it is listing the countries that whether it has to be given loan or not. So there are certain restrictions on which our country can be given loans. If our country is to be put in a gray list, then it is very difficult for our country to get loan. Or if it stands out in a blacklist, it is very difficult for the country to get loans from any place. So that is why Pakistan is definitely taking this action, that it is going against the Saeed Hafiz Saeed, and that it is taking necessary actions against the terrorists. So this was all about this thing. So this was the about the article. There was nothing much. It was quite evident in the newspaper also. This was all about the article. So I was saying that whenever you are reading a particular article or particular thing, you just need to work on your own intonations. What do I mean by intonation? Intonation is basically something in which suppose take an example of a language. Okay, so whenever we talk about in Hindi, that Hindi is in Hindi the language is same, just flat language. But whenever we talk about something in English, our voice goes up and down. So whenever I read, you can see that my voice also goes up and down. So that is called the intonation. So you also need to work on that thing, then only your reading skills will improve. So, for example, there is a word written as against, AGAINST. So that this word, this is the word. So how do you pronounce it? This word is against. So not if you pronounce this as against, so it will be a flat thing. But if I pronounce it as against, so what does it mean? It means that I'm raising my voice, and it has a different action. So in this way you can practice it. I will upload a new video on intonation somewhere in a couple of days. So till then, keep reading and learning English. Thank you.